Pass on our way to Silverton. Shows a little bit of how steep the road is that we're going to have to go down. We came over this in May and the wind was just really howling up here. Not too bad today. There's our road below. Far distance is Grand Junction. It's a place we're going to stop and have lunch and do some grocery shopping. Some more of the mountains and area that we're going over. And here's all of the rigs parked on a little ledge as we come down the mountain. Bud and Phyllis. There's Glenn. Andersons are with us again. We all met up at the Flaming Gorge. We're on our way to Silverton, Colorado. This is the road between Ouray and Silverton. We're climbing way up on top. Beautiful colors in the mountains across. Up in front of us, grinding up the hill. We've been climbing over 4,000 feet.
Get out this way. Get out here.
It's 18 feet. We've come up Red Mountain Pass. We're just going over the top now.
Well, we're at our camp up in Colorado, and everybody's unloaded and going except for Roland, and I'm taking pictures instead of helping them like I ought to be. Here it comes, the big old 600 off. Joint effort, we got it done. Roland scraping the frost off of it. It got down to pretty cold last night. It got up this morning, it was 31 degrees. Looking up at the hills, you can see the kind of country we're in over here. Beautiful country, really tall hills. I'll step back now and take a picture of our camp from the other side. This is an area where we camped. You can see I can't get it all in because the Rockies are so high right here. There's Carolyn's in my camp. There's Roland and Mavis camp. Look up above there how tall the hills are. Little snow up on top. There's Roland's truck. Moving on around, there's Chuck and Jones camp. And Bud and Phyllis camp. Chuck's getting ready to do his favorite thing, which is try to start his motorcycle. We're in the high country. Sometimes the bikes don't start real easy on a cold morning. Bud's trying to get his going now. You run out of wind up here in this high elevation. And there's Chuck doing his thing with that wonderful little 250. But look at the country behind him there. Now we got Roland. Everybody's out here trying to do the same thing. Start them machines so we can go for a ride.
have to use your magic, Ron.
Yeah. We'll fire, huh?
Pop out of his, so maybe we're going to be in business. Look at that. I hear Rollins' bike.
Can't believe it.
Just don't let it die.
Yeah. You choke yours is the one as well?
Yeah. Well, it's Monday morning in Colorado, and here we sat in August in a snowstorm, waiting for it to quit snowing so we can go for a motorcycle ride. This shows what some of the hills look like up here in the snow. On up above is a peak. I've got the awning out, Bud and Chuck, and we're getting ready to have a cup of coffee. This is looking directly behind our camp. As I sit here taking these pictures, Chuck's trying to talk me into coming back next year. A nice big hollow up there where the elk normally run across. This morning you can't see nothing. This is the calm after the storm. We're getting ready to ride out and take some pictures. Chuck's still trying to start his bike, as normal. We're behind Bud's pickup. We have our campfire going for tonight. There's Rollins camp, as you can see. Straight up above is the snow. Come on around, and then here's our camp. Point on up the canyon at the snow we got last night. It's really beautiful country. Extremely steep and extremely rugged. Directly behind our camp is this mountain range. As you can see, it got a fairly good dusting of snow last night too. The weather forecast is predicting 4 to 6 inches of snow tonight. We'll have to just wait and see what happens. Straight up the road here is the setting where the old town of Eureka was. It was right out in this flat. As you can see, there's nothing there anymore. And right at the head of the canyon right there is the old Eureka stamp mill, where they brought the ore down through that canyon up there from the Eureka mine, which is about 6 miles up. The ore was all trucked down by a cable car. Just above our camp, about half a mile, is some more mine tailings, and you can see an old cabin right there in the foreground. Old miner's shack. Just above it are the mine tailings. Move on over. See the results of the snow melt. There wasn't any water in that creek yesterday. Look at it now coming cascading down the canyon as the snow and the high country continues to melt. Very high, very beautiful country. We're about 2 miles above our camp. And over here is an old abandoned gold mine. The water you hear, the noise is a stream running that I'll capture in a moment. There was no water in it 2 days ago or 3 when we came through here. There's the stream. Comes down off the mountain up there. You can see the little cabin. Beautiful little cabin right up there on the hillside. Just to the side of it is a spectacular waterfall. We're going to go on and try to get up to the little town called Animas Forks. We're with Chuck and Joan. That's Carolyn with the helmet on, and then we'll be going on up the road here in just a moment. Straight ahead is what they call Animas Forks. It's one of the few pure ghost towns left. It's quite well preserved. You see the remnants of a stamp mill. And on up on the hill there are some houses. It's a very, very well preserved ghost town. We'll ride on up now and get a little closer look at it. Right on up the hill from it you can see the snow level that happened last night. Okay, I'm with Carolyn and Chuck and Joan at Animas Forks now, looking back down the trail we came up. The mountains with the snow and the clouds. You can see the snow melt in the bottom of the ravines. As I come on around, you can see some of the terrain that we've been riding on the motorcycles. The road that goes on up this way goes up to Engineer Pass. It's a really rugged road with just many switchbacks. It's pretty difficult to navigate. Our elevation right here at this ghost town is just over 11,000 feet. Some of the mining buildings. Over here are some of the old cabins and dwellings. Some of them are in remarkably good condition. You see they had siding on them, and some of them even had shake roofs. But Animas Forks is one of the better preserved ghost towns in the United States. Okay, now we're up California Gulch above Animas Fork Mine, Animas Fork Town. There's Carolyn going up the road with Joan. The picture you have there is of the old gold mine.
It might be the
American mine, I think, and we're not sure, but with the columbine blooming in the foreground. And you can see the piles of mine tailings with the huge rugged mountains directly in the background. Well, we're up at the mine now, looking back down the canyon at Animas Forks. And on the far hillside is Cinnamon Pass. That's one we came down our first day here. There's the road that we just came up on the motorcycles to the mine. Chuck's bike and my bike. On up above you can kind of see what the country's like. And there are mine tailings. And the big main processing mine building is right here. It's in quite good shape, considering it's over 100 years old. Still has snow on the roof. It's melting off. There's Carolyn and Joan getting ready to go inside and do a little bit of exploring. Side of the mine building now, looking in. If we sound out of breath, it's because we are 11,000 feet. There's a stairway going from the bottom up to the top. You can see the water on the floor and the moisture dripping through the air as the snow melts. Gives a little better perspective of it as I zoom it out a little bit. Now we're above it, above the old ore processing building, looking out over the valley with the snow-capped peaks behind. We're up on top of the hill now where Engineer Pass takes off and goes to Engineer City. You can see the conditions we're riding in. That's Chuck and Joan and Roland and Mava coming up the road towards us. It's a little bit hazardous. This is all from the snow we had the other day. There's Roland and Mava. There's Chuck and Joan. This is the road on up Engineer Pass. We went the other day when there was no snow. We won't be going up that way. The road we're going to take heads on down this way to a place called Engineer City and on over to Ouray. There goes the road, despairing if we can make it. We're going to give it a try. Maybe. Around here just shows you some of the country. And then there's a Jeep sitting here. Folks are trying to figure out if they can make it or not on from here. We got all our groups standing around talking. Freezing and talking and trying to figure out what to do. Snow is real crunchy this morning. You can probably hear Bud walking by, crunching the snow as he goes. I sometimes wonder what we're doing here. To show some of the country and the roads that we go on, we're down out of the snow now, heading towards Engineer City. There goes Bud and Phyllis, Chuck and Joan. Back up the road is Roland and Maeve. There are a whole bunch of switchbacks. We can climb. The altitude really goes up fast. Roland just gave us a wave down there. There goes the others. See the country. We're just now getting out of the snow. And I can let my heart slow down a little now, maybe. But we better get going and try to catch them. I'll zero in on this peak. We'll get going and try to catch them now. Well, we've arrived at Engineer City. We had to come back up an extremely rough road and get back in the snow to see Engineer City. I don't know, but I think that down that canyon is the way we're going to go to Ouray. We're almost out of the snow, which feels pretty good to me. You see parts of the road we came down over there. That's the crew just looking over the countryside. What's coming into view now is the old stamp mill from Engineer City, from some of the big gold mines. And we're just kind of running around here exploring a little bit. The big wooden wheel there ran on a pulley and ran all this gear, these gears. I think this is a 15 stamp mill. It's fallen over. Usually when it was running it was upright. This goes on up and shows part of the building that's left. There's sunlight, maybe we won't get it all. It shows you what's left of the old stamp mill mine. Coming down the trail, there's a place where the road's just chopped into the hillside, straight up and straight down. That's Rollin and Mava. Bud and Phyllis and Chuck and Joan have already gone on by. Now I guess it's our turn. Well, we've reached the town of Ouray, and we came down out of the mountains up above. And we're going to go over here and have us a lovely breakfast. And as you can see, it's quite a bit warmer down here, and everybody's stripping out of their snowmobile suits and hot clothes. Even people wearing shorts down here. And we were freezing in 25-degree weather up on top. We're going to go over and have us a miner's breakfast right there. There's a picture of Phyllis taking a picture of us eating breakfast in Ouray, Colorado. There's the group, they're all lunching down, getting ready for the hard climb back up over the hill.
Okay.
Carolyn enjoying my breakfast. You can tell Rollin from behind by the shiny spot. There's Bud. Well, we've just come up through an area called Corkscrew Gulch, and this is the top of it. Over to my left, somewhere over in there, we'll go over a summit. Don't know what it'll be like. And sweep on around, and we came up and over the pass of Red Mountain. There's one summit of it. And we go on down, and down that way, about 3 miles the way we came, just straight up. Switchback after switchback's why they call it the Corkscrew. And right here on top is a little tumble-down cabin where the crew's visiting. And then we go on over. There's the road where we park the bikes. And then straight up there's the other summit of Red Mountain. So the road goes on up that way. It's recommended four-wheel drives only. They don't even recommend it for motorcycles. So everybody's just relaxing and visiting before we go on. We're about 10 miles out of Ouray now, headed back over the pass towards Silverton. This is dinner at the Blackman's in Silverton, Colorado. Two ladies there from Tucson.
We'll take care of it. We'll entertain.
Well, I think that we do. I have
That gentleman is from Silverton. That lady's from Silverton.
And that's 20, and I counted 21 of us. See, one's on the phone, one's
Bud
shooting
and Phyllis.
camera, one's filling his plate.
Bud's enjoying that trout.
And the hush puppies.
And the hush puppies. Some more folks from Silverton. Of course, Rollin's got to find some business to do. Can't be eating dinner.
Okay.
Look at that plate of food there. That's the biggest plate that's come out of the kitchen yet.
Turn that thing off.
And there's Chuck. He's the only one here that took 3 trout. We had so many people we couldn't get them around the big table in the living room, so hi folks. And so we moved into another room and we got 2 tables back here. There's Maeve. Joan, turn around and wave at me so we know who you are.
Don't bother us, we eating fish.
There's Carolyn feeding her face.
Good.
There's Francis Hoosier. Tucson.
Boy, it's high up here.
Yes, it is.
Get back home, you finish. You get to put it in your garden. Scare all the worms out.
I can't see. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You got up there.
Perfect.
it's right there to me.
Everybody has to sit.
Back in there.
On a hill far away stood an old rugged cross. Then my suffering and shame, and I love that old cross, where the dearest and best for a world of lost sinners was slain. So cherish the old rugged cross, till my trophies at last I lay down. I will cling to the cross, the old rugged cross, and exchange it someday for a crown. I can't sing. Boop.
For my hair, really, it'd be, white.
Well, Glenn's mother turned completely white at age 30.
Well, I was
With a
turning.
kid like that, why not?
Yes, that's what did it, was him.
Well, see, when I had the twins, my hair started turning, and I was 26, and it started turning and light. I'm the youngest one of our family. I was the first one to get,
Believe it or not, her hair, when we got married, was jet black, without any color into it. Jet black.
Is that right?
Well, that's just what you've done to us.
see there what you've done.
Your fault.
Well, we're up on top of Molas Pass now. Almost 11,000 feet looking back towards, there's Molas Lake. And then looking back, right down there is the way we just come. We're only about 7 or 8 miles out of Silverton now. You can see the hills all got a real good pile of snow last night. Huge country. There's the road we came up right there.
pretty little lily pond right down here. Big pond down here.
Oh, that'll be a good one for this angle.
Right below us here, right below Mollis Lake, is a real pretty little pond full of lily pads.
Park there off that road. There, the clouds just parted and let that red mountain, and it was all just looked lacy, and there was a horse grazing over here, and then across of those two.
There's our trailer and pickup, and Rollin and Mavis Anderson's.
I took that lake. There was a duck floating around out there, and a beaver.
Right above where we're parked, the country's very spectacular. When we leave here, we head on towards Purgatory,